By all rights, this film, though lasting less than 1 minute, should have been all that we needed. It is all we need. We should have long since moved on to learning how they live, not wasting our breath and our brain power on whether or not they live. Many analysis videos look at the information with clear, fresh eyes, as though the footage had been shot only yesterday. It was breaking news in 1967, and it continues to be breaking news today, though this stark fact is not generally recognized. These honest appraisals strip away the layers of familiarity and facile judgment that the film has accumulated like sediment over the decades. You might be wondering, so if the truth is so darn obvious, why should we need all this analysis? It is to combat our natural tendency to see this figure in our own image, to project ourselves onto her. The first time most people watch this footage, they reflexively think, oh, that's a person, because the only upright walking primate that we've ever seen, other than this one here, have been human beings. And then, when we notice that this figure is covered in hair, we go quickly to, oh, that's a person in a suit. At first glance, of course, the profound resemblance between the species we see here and our own jumps out to meet us. It takes critical thinking for the significant differences to sink in. Dozens of anatomical elements could be spotlighted, but just a few will suffice. We don't even need to consider her breasts, the most immediate and persuasive detail. Let's begin with Patty's right leg. She has a bulge that appears to be a herniated muscle on her thigh. And now look at the calf muscles and the knee joint. Then consider this feature here, the gracilis tendon. You're going to tell me that the suit maker thought to include this as well? Here is the same tendon shown in the leg of our own species. Such exquisitely faithful anatomical details we would be hard-pressed to fabricate even today, much less 52 years ago.
You know, a lot of detail depends entirely on how the light strikes the subject. You know, right here in this particular frame, it does penetrate through the hair on the leg, and you can see the muscle itself quite well. And those of you out there who know anatomy pretty good, you probably know what you're looking at here, except it's on a larger scale. Also notice that right up at the top of the calf, you'll see like a Y shape, a little forked Y shape. Those appear to be tendons, where some of the light strikes and penetrates the hair there, and actually you can see the skin under the hair. And in this filtered image right here, you can see them quite well. So, you know, these things are quite compelling. Those people who know anatomy, know calf muscles or gastrocnemius muscles, or however you want to term that, they know what they're looking at. And I also deal a little bit with the hands. Take a look at the hands here. And I've got it stabilized at the wrist, and I zoom in, and you can watch the fingers flex. You know, for just 2 frames, when you consider the fact that there are over 900 frames, you know, that's a lot of information.
Now, see right there, you can people say that there's no distinction between the buttocks and the two halves, the two cheeks of the buttocks. But nothing could be further from the truth, actually. If you break the film down frame by frame, you'll see that there, in fact, is some distinction between them. There you go right there. You see the 2 glutes. There it is again. The glutes once more. There it is again, once more. But I wanted you to understand that, you know, it requires, you know, a careful study and careful stabilization. A hoaxed film would not yield information to this degree. It would only yield information that the hoaxer designed into it. A live event continues to yield on and on and on. Now it switches to a more filtered image, which boosts the contrast quite a bit. This is the natural image. But if you'll notice right in here, you'll see muscles that move beneath the shoulder blade. You'll see the buttocks area right here rock back and forth. And it's very natural.
Here we have two bipeds strolling along, doing what they do. Both have a similar gait, seemingly. However, there is one small difference. First, let's take a look at Patty here from the Patterson Gimlin film. The angle of her shin rise is 73 degrees. We see it on every step. Now let's take a look at our model on the right. We see her shin rise only comes up to 52 degrees. So now we have this and this. 21 degrees difference. Big deal. No two shins are going to rise the same, right? 52 degrees, 52 degrees, again and again. Everybody hit the same mark, 52 degrees, which means whoever this is, there's something very weird about the mechanics of their walk. Here we have a volunteer being a good sport, trying to replicate the walk, the 73-degree walk, and make it look natural. And if you think you can do it better, post it as a video response. I'd love to see it. Which brings us to this guy. He claims he was the one in the Patterson Gimlin film wearing the monkey suit, the female monkey suit. Now we see he's got the arm swing thing down and the turn the head while walking thing down, both very compelling. But the big question is, can he do the Bigfoot walk, or is he just full of Bigfoot talk? So what do you think? Can you tell now, without the visual reference? 52 degrees, just like the rest of us. Seems like you can fake a lot of things, but trailing shin rise isn't one of them. You, me, all of us humans have at least one thing in common. Our legs are longer than our arms. While chimps, apes, and most other primates, they're the exact opposite. So where does Patty fit in? To explore this further, first I needed to know if there was a normal range for human body ratios, or does it vary from person to person? So, to help illustrate human diversity at extreme levels, we have martial arts and movie superstar Bruce Lee and NBA legend, martial artist, and movie star as well, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And I'm thinking, there's no way these guys share any ratios. And lo and behold, after measuring them, I found that their arms were exactly 20% shorter than their legs. Both of them. So what about Bob? He should match up the same, shouldn't he? And he does. Right on the money, Bob's arms are 20% shorter than his legs, just like the rest of us. And after measuring Patty, I found that her ratios, they're not off by just a little. They're out of the ballpark off. Patty's arms are astonishingly only 5% shorter than her legs, and that puts Patty smack dab right in between humans and other primates. And in case you're keeping score, that's non-human. And we know that. We can see that just by looking at these two side by side. Give you an idea of what Bob's body would have to look like before he fit into this suit. And there we see his shoulders finally line up, and his elbow, and his hand is finally down here where it belongs, and his hip is finally way down here, and his knees line up. So that is what Bob or any human would look like with Patty's body ratios. And here we have another famous furry suit, Chewbacca from Star Wars, of course, and the British actor Peter Mayhew, who played Chewbacca. And I've dropped in some lines here, and we see their shoulders line up, their elbows, their hip areas, their knees. Peter's body ratios stay the same whether he's in a suit or out, and that makes sense. Of course, it's the same body ratios. So there you go. It's just one of those things where we've all seen this and stared at this so many times, we just couldn't see the truth anymore. And that simple truth is humans are not built like this. Not by a long shot. And for anyone thinking about trying to pull off a hoax now, man, I don't know. I'm thinking body ratios are going to shut you guys down in a heartbeat.
For a deeper dive into the intricacies of suit design versus organic anatomy, treat yourself to Bill Munns' lecture. Just search under 2013 Bill Munns Texas Bigfoot Conference.